Let there be light, and there was light. What's up, guys? Hope you're doing great. This is Kobe Shots. You're welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy to see you yet again doing so well. Here I do photography and filmmaking based content, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and you're new here, please consider subscribing because you won't regret a single bit. And because you're new here, definitely you may have not engaged yourself in majority of the videos that I already have over here on my channel. So please do me the favor and go check them all out because you won't regret watching any of them. So with that said, let us go straight into what we have for today. Today we are going to do a review of a light that I enjoy using so much, and it is the GODOX SL60W, which has changed the look of every filmmaking production that I have done. If you should get it for yourself, not only is it going to improve your understanding of lighting, it is also going to improve the kind of work that you produce anytime you use it. What actually blew my mind about this light and all the goodies that it comes with, which I'm going to talk to you about, and I'm so excited about them, is that this light is priced under 1500 USD. And considering all the features it has, the price doesn't justify what this light is capable of. Before I got to know about this light, I was using LED panels, 2 of them from Yongno, together with 2 ring lights like what I have rimming me right now. And that was all I was using until I saw a review on YouTube about this light, and I was so excited because at the price point and what it can do, it was totally comparable to a light that I was saving so much for, which is the Aperture 120D, and creators consider the Aperture 120D to be the GODOX SL60W's arch rival, which is believable because everybody who gets to know about this light, if was initially considering purchasing the Aperture 120D, are all considering this light for the most part. It may not be everybody though, but for majority of creators who got to know about this light are all enthused and are considering getting this light for themselves, just like I got for myself, and it has tremendously changed my workflow and my lighting options. This light has the Bowens mount design, and so for majority of the softboxes and all the other modifiers that you can come across, you can use them with this light, and this makes this light very versatile amongst all the possibilities that you can have with modifiers. The GODOX SL60W has wonderful color rendition index, which is abbreviated as CRI, which is basically used to calculate the accuracy and color rendition produced by any type of light. And if you talk about light that produces accurate color rendition, this light isn't an exception because it produces 93 as the value of the CRI. And because of this, it is ideal for filmmaking and any video production project. CRI, or color rendition index, can also be explained or calculated with how accurate light can render colors in comparison to the all accurate color rendition by the sun. If you're asking if this light produces tungsten and daylight altogether, which makes a light bicolor, then the answer is no, because this light produces 5600 Kelvin, which is the sole color temperature that this light produces. But you can look at options like using colored gels if you want to change the tone or the color of the light. One thing that may be of a concern to creators or may discourage them from purchasing or considering this light is that this light doesn't come with a battery pack, but rather the package comes with an AC power cable, which is long enough if you want to move the light around. So it may not be so much of a concern if you are using this light indoors, which is basically what this light was designed for. But if you want to also use it outdoor, then you would have to either carry along a battery pack or any power source so that you can use this light equally outdoors. The GODOX SL60W comes with a reflector dish. This modifier or this accessory that the light comes with in the package can help you narrow the beam of the light, and this can also be useful if you're looking at projecting or intensifying the amount of luminosity that the light produces. So this becomes very useful if you want to shape light as well as increase the luminosity. But the only thing that would be a downside is that you cannot have the light spilling all over. It is rather going to narrow down the light, as I have said before. The design of this light is very remarkable because behind the light you're going to locate an LCD display that doesn't only display the intensity value in percentage but also a heat temperature display. So this can come in handy if you're shooting under hot conditions and you have to switch off the light so that it can cool down. You can determine when to switch it off by looking at the LCD display for the heat temperature values. Another major concern that we normally overlook, or for me when I started filmmaking and introducing myself to purchasing light or investing in lighting, one thing that I had little knowledge about was that lights can flicker at particular settings in your camera. This light, in a number of reviews done by YouTubers, always protest against the flickering issue it has. But for what I've experienced so far using this light for the most part doesn't flicker at all. It may only flicker according to some YouTubers at settings of shutter speed from 1/500th of a second and beyond. But for the kind of video productions that I do, I don't necessarily go beyond a shutter speed setting of 1/500th because I can dim the intensity of the light, and because I have a small space for filming my projects indoors, I don't need the full outputs that this light can produce. So I always find myself normally shooting at lower shutter speeds than 1/500th of a second. Because this light can produce heat, it has to have some kind of cooling system inside, and so they included a fan in there. And it can be a concern because if you have your microphone that close or your camera that close to the fan, it can pick up some noise from the fan. Normally, filmmakers may change the fan for another fan which is supposed to be silent, and this may cause some issues, which majorly is the flickering. The GODOX SL60W is very efficient because the amount of light it produces is very comparable to its arch rival, which is the Aputure 120D. And looking at the price differences, this light is something to really look into. Putting Aputure 120D to the test in brightness with the GODOX SL60W, you're definitely going to settle on the GODOX SL60W because if you shoot indoors for the most part and you have outlets around, you can use this light instead of purchasing the Aputure 120D that costs thrice as much as the value of the GODOX SL60W. Even though I don't have an Aputure 120D over here, I can still show you how bright this light can be with the settings of my camera and build on the intensity from 10%, which is the lowest light output from the GODOX SL60W, all the way to 100%. One fantastic feature considering the price point of this light and what it comes with in the package is the remote. For the price point and the light coming with a remote is remarkable. But this remote doesn't feel cheap at all. It is very durable and you're going to like the feel of the buttons if you press them. One major concern or disadvantage that may render this remote almost useless is that this remote isn't bi-directional, which simply means that if you should input settings with the dial itself on the light, it wouldn't reflect on the settings that you may have previously set with the remote. And it could be for this reason why I don't normally resort to the remote, but rather I fancy using the dial on the unit itself. So personally, I barely use the remote, so if it's a concern for you, that's one thing to also know. So this brings us to the end of the video. Thank you very much for staying through to the very end. I know you've learned a thing or two, and you can tell from the delivery that I've given you in my presentation so far that majority of all that I've said about this light is positive. And so if you're considering getting yourself or purchasing a very good video light which isn't too pricey, then the GODOX SL60W is a wonderful choice and I recommend it to you. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please share it to all your friends across all social media platforms that you may find yourself, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Again, please subscribe to the channel and you're not going to miss out on any content I upload over here. If you should, turn on the post notification button, which I recommend you do, so that every video that I post here on my YouTube channel in the future, you will be first to see it. So until the next video, I'll catch you later. See ya.